Okay, it's nice and
And
relaxed.
how does I call you, like...
You can call me Donald.
For real.
Okay.
It's Trump, innit?
Right.
And Rakim, remember at the beginning, what you doing?
TR... It's up there. So how long has there been businesses?
Well, business started from the day one, from early in the world.
And what was they doing business in back in the day?
Many, many, many years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, people were doing business, and they were trading in rocks and stones and other things.
Who would want to buy rocks?
I don't know, man. You gotta ask them that.
I've got some business idea that I just want to tell you about, and I'll be a fool if...
Very quickly.
What is the most popular thing in the world?
Music.
No.
Tell me.
Ice cream.
Okay.
Everyone has it. And what is the problem with ice cream?
I have no idea.
It drips.
Okay.
So my idea is what?
To make a drip-proof ice cream.
No. Oh, that's a fucking brilliant idea, this. All right, whatever. You ain't going to come out with that, though.
No, I promise you I won't.
Well, my idea is to come out with just like these ice cream gloves that make the ice cream not go on your hands and make it all well sticky. And also keep your hands warm when you is eating the ice cream.
Okay.
Is you in or is you in?
Okay, well, it sounds like a good idea, and I hope you make a lot of money. Good luck, folks. It's been nice seeing you. You take care of yourself, okay?
Well, is you going to be in on that?
Well, it sounds like an interesting
We've got
idea.
like P. Diddy is going to be in it.
Good.
Donald Trump facing new criticism for something he did on the campaign trail last night in South Carolina while defending his debunked claim that he saw thousands of Muslims celebrate the collapse of the Twin Towers here in New York. He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability. Take a look.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arms. A Times spokesman says they find it outrageous that Trump would ridicule the man's appearance.
The people, my people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. No, they say, Trump, we love you too, man. Trump's voters are by far, you know, I'm at 68, 69%. I'm at 90% total. Like, will you stay? Absolutely. I think it's 68 or 69%. Will you most likely stay? That gets into the 90s. Other guys are like at 10. A guy like Jeb Bush, he has a nobody, but he's like I mean, like they don't have people. They have nothing. Rubio, soft. They're all soft, all soft. My people stay. By the way, Cruz, soft. When I heard that she was going to endorse me, I was so honored. You have no idea how honored. And I would like to bring up, if I might, Governor Sarah Palin.
Are you ready to make America great again? We all have a part in this. We all have a responsibility. Looking around at all of you, you hard-working Iowa families, you farm families, and teachers and Teamsters and cops and cooks, you rock and rollers and holy rollers. When we're talking about a nation without borders, when we're talking about bankruptcies in our federal government, debt that our children and our grandchildren, they'll never be able to pay off. When we're talking about no more Reagan-esque power that comes from strength, power through strength, well, then we're talking about our very existence. So no, we're not going to chill. In fact, it's time to drill, baby, drill down and hold these folks accountable. His power, his passion, it's the fabric of America, and it's woven by work ethic and dreams and drive and faith in the Almighty. What a combination. Are you ready to share in that again, Iowa? Because that's what's going to let you make America great again. Are you ready for that, Iowa? No more pussyfooting around. Our troops deserve the best. You deserve the best.
Our country doesn't win anymore. We don't win. We don't win in trade. We don't win with our military. Look at ISIS. I mean, they're laughing at us. It's just crazy what's going on. We don't win. We don't win at the border. People cross the border. Go ahead. So what are we going to do at the border, folks? Build a wall. Build a wall. You know, in a few weeks, it's going to be your chance to vote. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to do very well. I think we're going to do very well. By the way, are you ready? Who's going to pay for that wall? Who's going to pay? They are. They're going to pay.
You want to talk about weakness? It's weak to disparage women. It's weak to disparage Hispanics.
I don't disparage.
It's weak to denigrate the disabled. And it's really weak to call John McCain a loser because he was a POW.
I never called him. No, I don't call
That
him
is
a-
outrageous. He's an American hero.
He also
Simple
said
fact
about
is,
language.
I've laid out my plans
He said
as it
about
relates to
language. My
immigration.
language. 2 days ago, he said he would take his pants off and moon everybody, and that's fine. Nobody reports that. He gets up and says that. And then he tells me, oh, my language was a little bit rough.
Okay.
My language.
Governor Kasich.
Give me a break.
Governor Kasich. Governor Kasich.
Republican candidate Jeb Bush says he's dropping out of the race to the White House after finishing a distant fourth place in South Carolina. It marks an end to his dream to become the third Bush president after his father and brother.
But the people of Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina have spoken, and I really respect their decision. So tonight, I am suspending my campaign. Yeah. Thank you, man.
I got a response.
You'll have a chance. Maria will
Hold
pick
on,
up
he
the
called me a
question.
liar. You're saying I can't respond to being called a liar?
Go ahead and respond.
You know, what we're seeing with Donald, there's a reason Harry Reid thinks he's the best Republican up here. There's a reason Jimmy Carter said he would support Donald Trump over me, because he said Donald Trump is malleable. He has no fixed set of beliefs, whereas Ted Cruz is not malleable. And every time anyone points at Donald's actual record, what he said on national television, Donald yells liar. Let me tell you something. Falsely accusing someone of lying is itself a lie, and it's something Donald does daily.
Go ahead, Mr. Trump.
I watched the lobbyists. I watched what this man did to Dr. Ben Carson, who I respect, in Iowa, where he said that Ben Carson is out of the race. He has left Iowa, and he's out of the race. And I thought it was disgraceful. And got a lot of votes because of that. A lot of votes took him away from Ben Carson. I watched that. Probably took him away from me, too. But I watched it. I also watched where he did a form that looked like it came right out of a government agency. And it said on top, voter violation. And then it graded you, and it scared the hell out of people. And it said the only way you clear up the violation, essentially, is to go and vote for Ted Cruz. I watched that fraudulent document, and I said it's the worst thing I've ever seen in politics. To me, that was even worse than what he did to Ben.
Senator Cruz.
I know
Donald,
politicians.
you
I know
just-
politicians, believe it or not, better than you do, and it's not good.
Oh, I believe it. No, I believe you know politicians much better than I do, because for 40 years you've been funding liberal Democratic politicians. And by the way,
I funded
the,
you.
The
I
reason
funded him.
You're welcome
You
to
believe
have
it?
the check back.
I funded this guy.
Because let's
I gave
be clear.
him a check.
Yeah,
I
you
gave
gave
him
me
a check.
$5,000.
You never funded me.
And by the way, let's be clear. Donald claims Donald claims to care
You know why? I didn't
about
want to, but he sent me his book with his autograph.
Donald, I understand rules
Mr.
are very
Trump,
hard
you're
for you.
doing
They're
a great
very
job.
confusing.
I have his book.
Okay,
Yeah, on your reality
Trump,
TV
you're doing a
show,
great
not
job.
in
Thank you,
Donald.
thank you for the book.
Donald.
Thank you for the book. Go ahead.
Donald, you can get back on
We
your
got a lot
meds
of fun
now.
up here tonight, I have to tell you. Thank you for the book. I really appreciate it.
Donald, relax.
Go ahead. I'm relaxed. You're
sent
the
him a
basket
book.
case. Go ahead. Go
Donald,
ahead. Don't get nervous.
My,
Go ahead.
My
I
name
promise
is,
you,
my
Donald,
name is
there's
Mitch.
nothing about
I've
you
seen
that makes
I've
anyone
seen-
nervous.
You're
You know,
losing
people
so
are actually
badly.
watching
wanna-
this
I-
at
You
home.
don't know what's happening.
Gentlemen.
Wolf, I'm going to ask that my
We gotta
time not
stop
be
this.
deducted
The
when
time
he's
is up,
yelling
Wolf.
at
Gentlemen.
Take control.
Okay, now.
The latest debate,
Well, hold
gentlemen,
on. I'm
please.
going to get my answer. He doesn't get to
Wait,
yell
I
in
want
the
to
whole
move.
time.
I want to move on. These are the rules.
Well, you can't
Excuse
move on.
me. He
We're
called
moving
me
on.
You
a
know what?
liar
You
and then
should move
interrupted
on.
the whole time.
You've
Am I
had a
allowed to-
chance.
Wolf,
do I
Gentlemen.
not get a response?
Senator Cruz, you have said, quote, torture is wrong, unambiguously, period. Civilized nations do not engage in torture. Some of the other candidates say they don't think waterboarding is torture. Mr. Trump has said, I would bring it back. Senator Cruz, is waterboarding torture?
Well, under the definition of torture, no, it's not. Under the law, torture is excruciating pain that is equivalent to losing organs and systems. So under the definition of torture, it is not. It is enhanced interrogation. It is vigorous interrogation, but it does not meet the generally recognized definition of torture.
If elected president, would you bring it back?
I would not bring it back in any sort of widespread use. And indeed,
You heard the other night at debate, they asked Ted Cruz, serious question, well, what do you think of waterboarding? Is it okay? And honestly, I thought he'd say absolutely, and he didn't. He said, well, it's, you know, he's concerned about the answer because some people, she just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's a pussy. That's terrible. Terrible.
On foreign policy, America continues to be indispensable to the goal of global liberty, property, and safeguarding human rights. The world is a better place when America is the strongest nation on earth. But we can't remain powerful if we don't have an economy that can afford it. In the short time that I've been here in Washington, nothing has frustrated me more than false choices like the one the president laid out tonight. The choice isn't just between big government or big business. What we need is an accountable, efficient, and effective government that allows small and new businesses to create more middle-class jobs.
It's Rubio. That's what it. Unbelievable.
Lightweight Marco Rubio was working hard last night. This is true. The problem is he is a chalker. And once a chalker, always a choker. I guess that's what he meant to say. He spelled choker C-H-O-K-E-R, chalker. He called me Mr. Meltdown. Let me tell you something. Last night in the debate during one of the breaks, two of the breaks, he went backstage. He was having a meltdown. First, he had this little makeup thing applying like makeup around his mustache because he had one of those sweat mustaches. Then he asked for a full-length mirror. I don't know why, because the podium goes up to here, but he wanted a full-length mirror. Maybe to make sure his pants weren't wet. I don't know. Then I see him pacing back and forth, and then he's huddled in the corner talking to somebody. He's like waving his arms up and down, and the person's trying to calm him down. So, anyway. But I'm a chalker. All right. Next tweet. Leet-weight chalker Marco Rubio looks like a little boy on stage, not presidential material. He meant to say lightweight, but he spelled it L-E-I-G-H-T, so he got that wrong. looks like a little boy on stage. It's not that I look like a little boy. I wouldn't even be the youngest president, but he would be the oldest president ever elected. And it's like an 8-year term, so you start to worry. So how does this guy, not in one tweet, 3 tweets, misspell words so badly? And I only reached 2 conclusions. Number 1, that's how they spell those words at the Wharton School of Business, where he went. Or number 2, just like Trump Tower, he must have hired a foreign worker to do his own tweets. Guys, we have a con artist as the front runner in the Republican Party. A guy who has made a career out of telling people lies so that they come in and buy his product or whatever he does. You ever heard of Trump vodka? You have? Well, it isn't around anymore. Or Trump mattress, or Trump air, or Trump ice, or Trump water. Those are all businesses that are gone because they were disasters. Okay? Trump hot air, yeah. So we cannot allow the conservative movement to be taken over by a con artist because the stakes are too high.
He's always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands? And you know what they say about men with small hands? You can't trust them.
Today, Mitt Romney said Trump has been disqualified. Here's Dean Reynolds.
Campaigning in Virginia today, Donald Trump was boasting again.
We have amazing endorsements, and the people that really mean. We have hundreds of people now that want to endorse.
But praise from David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, may test his following more than ever.
Voting for these people, voting against Donald Trump at this point is really treason to your heritage.
Last Friday, Trump seemed to say no thanks.
I disavow, okay?
But Sunday, he declined to renounce the KKK, Duke, or his support.
I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know.
Trump eventually tried to clear up any confusion.
I disavow David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter.
He said a bad earpiece made it hard to hear the question about the KKK on Sunday, even though he used the same one for several interviews. In any case, it's clear some far-right groups like what they're hearing from him. He's won the backing of the neo-Nazi website The Daily Stormer, for example, and the American National Super PAC is making calls in Super Tuesday states.
We don't need Muslims. We need smart, well-educated white people who will assimilate to our culture. Vote Trump.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks hate groups, says that super PAC was started by the white supremacist American Freedom Party. Mark Potok of the SPLC said Trump's rhetoric is a coded appeal to racists.
The idea that any mildly educated person in this country could not know what the Ku Klux Klan was is perhaps one of the most ludicrous statements we've heard in mainstream politics in many years.
The super PAC backing Marco Rubio put it this way.
Trump refuses to denounce the KKK. Think about that. For president?
But Donald Trump has been heavily criticized before, Scott, and so far his support for the nomination among voters in the party of Abraham Lincoln has held firm.
Dean Reynolds reporting for us tonight. Dean, thank you.
If we Republicans choose Donald Trump as our nominee, the prospects for a safe and prosperous future are greatly diminished. If Donald Trump's plans were ever implemented, the country would sink into prolonged recession. Isn't he a huge business success? Doesn't he know what he's talking about? No, he isn't. And no, he doesn't. A business genius, he is not. Mr. Trump's bombast is already alarming our allies. Let ISIS take out Assad, he said, and then we can pick up the remnants. This recklessness is recklessness in the extreme. Now, Donald Trump tells us that he is very, very smart. I'm afraid that when it comes to foreign policy, he is very, very not smart. Donald Trump lacks the temperament to be president. After all, this is an individual who mocked a disabled reporter. Donald Trump says he admires Vladimir Putin. At the same time, he's called George W. Bush a liar. That is a twisted example of evil trumping good. There's a dark irony in his boasts of his sexual exploits during the Vietnam War. while at the same time, John McCain, whom he has mocked, was imprisoned and tortured. Dishonesty is Donald Trump's hallmark. His imagination must not be married to real power. Think of Donald Trump's personal qualities: the bullying, the greed, the showing off, the misogyny, the absurd third-grade theatrics. Now, Mr. Trump relishes any poll that reflects what he thinks of himself. But polls are also saying that he will lose to Hillary Clinton. Of course, a Trump nomination enables her victory. There's plenty of evidence that Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake. Mr. Trump has changed his positions not just over the years, but over the course of the campaign, and on the Ku Klux Klan daily for 3 days in a row. I predict that there are more bombshells in his tax returns. I predict that he told the New York Times that his immigration talk is just that, talk. He has too much to hide. Mr. Trump is directing our anger for less than noble purposes. He creates scapegoats of Muslims and Mexican immigrants. This is the very brand of anger that has led other nations into the abyss. Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University. This is a time for choosing. He has neither the temperament nor the judgment to be president. His personal qualities would mean that America would cease to be a shining city on a hill.
But let me point out,
Not what you
Donald
say in the
actually
op-ed.
cared
That is
about-
not what you said in the op-ed.
Donald, please, I know it's hard
Yeah,
not
I know
to
it is,
interrupt,
but it's not what you said in the op-ed.
Breathe.
Lion
breathe,
Ted.
Breathe. You can do it. You can breathe. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but just...
When they're done with the yoga, can I answer a question?
You cannot. I really hope that we don't see yoga on this stage.
Well, he's very flexible, so you never know.